Hey there, my fellow explorers. Today we're diving into the depths of the Big Apple to uncover the secrets hidden beneath the bustling streets of New York City. And let me tell you, we're not talking about your typical subway tunnels here. Nope, we're talking about the good stuff. Secret tunnels that crisscross underneath the city, shrouded in mystery and intrigue. Now you might be thinking, why on earth does New York need secret tunnels? Well, my friend, that's exactly what we're here to find out. We'll be exploring the dark history of these tunnels, discovering why they were constructed, and even uncovering some of the wild and crazy stories that took place in them. So, grab your hard hat and a flashlight, because we're about to embark on a journey that will take us deep into the underbelly of one of the greatest cities in the world. Let's do this. The origins of the secret tunnels of New York City. Well, it all started way back in the day when the city was just a wee little settlement. Back then, they didn't have the luxury of skyscrapers and high-rises like we do now. Nope, they had to make do with what they had, which was a lot of rock, dirt, and a few pesky rivers getting in the way. So what did they do? They dug, of course. And boy, did they dig. The early settlers had shovels and pickaxes, and they weren't afraid to use them. They carved out tunnels to help with transportation, water supply, and even sewage. Yep. That's right, the same tunnels that once brought clean water to the city were later used as sewer systems. Talk about versatility! Over the years, the tunnels evolved and grew more complex, with new ones being dug for everything from subways to secret passageways for bootleggers during Prohibition. And that, my friends, is how the secret tunnels of New York City came to be. So, why on earth did the early settlers go through all the trouble of digging these tunnels? Well, it turns out they had some pretty good reasons. For one, transportation was a major issue. Back in the day, the streets were narrow and congested, and it was hard to get around without getting trampled by a horse-drawn carriage or two. So, they dug tunnels to create the world-famous subway system, which is still a lifesaver for millions of New Yorkers today. But transportation wasn't the only reason for digging tunnels. Water supply was another big concern. The settlers needed clean water to survive, but the rivers were too polluted to drink from. So they dug tunnels to bring fresh water from upstate New York to the city. And let me tell you, that water was worth its weight in gold. In fact, some say it was so good it even won awards. Who knew tunnels could be so important, right? Let's face it, without the tunnels, New York City just wouldn't be the same. Can you imagine trying to get around the city without the subway? You'd be stuck in traffic for hours and forget about trying to get anywhere on time. The tunnels have played a huge role in shaping the city and making it the bustling metropolis it is today, but it's not just about transportation. The tunnels have also had a major impact on the city's economy. Thanks to the tunnels, businesses can transport goods and supplies quickly and efficiently, which is crucial in a city that never sleeps. And let's not forget about the role the tunnels played in Prohibition. Bootleggers used secret tunnels to transport illegal booze around the city, and without those tunnels, we wouldn't have had speakeasies and all the fun that came with them. So you see, the tunnels aren't just a bunch of holes in the ground. They're a vital part of what makes New York City so special. When it comes to tunnels in New York City, there's a little something for everyone. First, we have the subway tunnels, the lifeline of the city. These tunnels crisscross underneath the city like a giant spider web, and without them, we'd all be lost. They take us from one end of the city to the other, and they're a great place to people watch, too. Just don't forget your headphones. The screeching of the train can get a little intense. Then there are the water tunnels, which are like the veins of the city. These tunnels bring clean water to the city from upstate New York, and they're an engineering marvel. They're huge, big enough to drive a car through, and they're deep underground to protect the water supply from pollution. And let's not forget about the utility tunnels, which house all sorts of pipes and wires for things like electricity and steam. These tunnels are a maze, and you definitely don't want to get lost down there. There are even secret tunnels that were used during Prohibition, which are like a time capsule of wild and crazy past. So whether you're a history buff, an engineer, or just someone who likes to explore, there's a tunnel in New York City for you. Let's be real, digging tunnels is hard work. Back in the day, they didn't have fancy equipment like we do now. Nope, they had to rely on good old-fashioned sweat and muscle to get the job done. The early settlers used picks, shovels, and dynamite to dig the first tunnels, And they had to be pretty creative to make sure everything stayed structurally sound. It wasn't until the 19th and 20th centuries that technology really started to catch up. Engineers developed new techniques for digging and reinforcing tunnels, and they used machines like tunnel boring machines, TBMs, to make the process faster and more efficient. But it's not just about digging the tunnels. It's also about making sure everything inside them works properly. That's where technology really comes into play. The water tunnels, for example, use advanced filtration systems to make sure the water is clean and safe to drink. And the subway tunnels use all sorts of high-tech equipment to keep the trains running on time, from signaling systems to air conditioning units. It's amazing to think about how much technology goes into something as seemingly simple as a tunnel. But then again, this is New York City we're talking about. Oh boy, it's time to get into the juicy stuff. When it comes to the tunnels, there's a whole lot of dark history lurking beneath the surface. We're talking about everything from smuggling to murder to the occasional giant alligator sighting. Yes, really. Back during Prohibition, bootleggers used secret tunnels to smuggle booze around the city, and they were pretty darn good at it too. There are even rumors of tunnels that were used by Al Capone and other notorious gangsters to transport goods and people around the city undetected. And let's not forget about the abandoned subway stations that are rumored to be haunted by ghosts of the past. Spooktacular! But it's not all fun and games. Some of the stories from the tunnels are downright chilling. There are tales of bodies being dumped in the tunnels, of homeless people being trapped down there, and even of people being pushed onto the subway tracks. And let's not forget about the time when Hurricane Sandy flooded the subway tunnels, leaving commuters stranded and the city in chaos. It's a reminder that even though the tunnels are a marvel of engineering, they're not without their risks and dangers. Oh, the myths and legends surrounding secret tunnels in New York City. It's like a treasure trove of juicy gossip and tall tales. One of the most enduring legends is the supposed secret tunnels under Grand Central Terminal. According to the story, there are hidden passageways and secret rooms beneath the bustling train station that have been used for everything from bootlegging to presidential escapades. But here's the thing. Despite the rumors, there's no solid evidence to that. Sure, there have been plenty of reports over the years of mysterious doorways and locked gates leading to unknown depths. But who's to say those don't just lead to a janitor's closet or a storage room for discarded train parts? Until someone comes up with some concrete proof, we're just going to have to file this one under unconfirmed urban legends and keep our eyes peeled for any suspicious activity around the station. Well, folks, that's a wrap on our deep dive into the secret tunnels crisscrossing underneath New York City. I hope you enjoyed this wild and wacky journey through the underground world of the Big Apple. If you're feeling adventurous, why not grab a flashlight and a map and see if you can uncover some of these secret passageways for yourself?